Hello, hello, hello. It has been a while since I recorded a podcast because it's been lockdown and I am so over it. I think everyone's over it, so I don't even need to state that. Um, but it's good that there's a horizon there that's coming closer with all of this shit. And the reason that it's so, for me personally, I know for other people there's so many reasons why this is shitty, especially if they're a small business owner um, or a parent that has to all of a sudden homeschool their kids. For me personally, it's just not something I realized. So just something you deal with, I guess, but just the lack of fucking social contact and conversation in person. It's driving me crazy. And, if you're an extrovert, I think you would be going mad. It would be really, really hard. I mean, I love to get out and do things, but I'm also okay with being at home. But really, it's been longer than COVID for me, having, been postpartum just before the whole shit hit the fan. So I'm just looking forward to some social interaction. And with this most recent lockdown in Nova Scotia, I wasn't able to have, I think, 2 of my women's sacred circles. And that's had an even bigger effect on me that I want to acknowledge and share, because even though it's only maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours out of a whole month that we sit down intentionally, create the space to share how we're feeling, wow, like it fuels me. It's energy replenishing. It restores me. It grounds me. And it gets me through the next month. And it's so different than getting together just with a group of friends. Like, come over, have a coffee, we'll have a chat. That's amazing too. I love that. But there's a huge difference in what is being discussed in an intentional space or a sacred space and just, having dinner with someone. And there's different ways of behaving. There's different rules, and they're not, we explicitly say a few of them, like, this is a non-judgmental space. It's about diversity and inclusion of all experiences, and a few others. But just in using intention, which is a form of energy, when you do something, when you set an intention, it's an energetic. There's energy behind that. It might not be physical. When we think of energy, it's like your body having enough energy and having enough energy to run or exercise or, make dinner. But that's just one form of energy, right? And so intention is another form of energy. Very powerful. When we set an intention, it can shift our physical energy as well, and it can shift our outlook, or it can be the energy that drives where we want to go or what we want to create. And so how do you set, I'm talking about intentional, sacred space. Well, how do you create that safe container to share and to connect with others? It's something you have to practice for sure. And the more you practice, the more you understand how you set and create space, because everyone may do it a bit differently, but it hopefully has the same effect. Otherwise, I guess it's not working. But so how do you create an intentional, or what I would like to call a sacred space? Well, I use embodiment practices. Using the breath to become present. I think that's the first step, is to become present here and now. To take a moment to pull yourself out of the day-to-day, your to-do list, or your dramas, or the suffering that's going on. Just park it for a minute and just become present where you are. And so I like to do that through breathing, through visualization, through guiding people to their body and feeling their body and being in their body. So what that would look like would be everyone close their eyes and just notice your breathing. You don't need to change your breathing. Just notice how it comes in and goes out. Is it mainly in your chest? Does your belly expand? Is it easy flowing, or is it fast? Feel your face, your jaw, the sensations of your skin. Feel your feet on the floor. Push your feet down into the floor. Feel your butt on the chair. All of these kind of cues to just get your mind out of your mind and into your awareness, into your body. And by bringing your awareness into your body, there's a softening process there, a slowing down. And when we can slow down, we can be where we are instead of rushing to be in the future, or the things that we have to do, or the things that we want to talk about. A lot of people come to Circle and think, oh, what am I going to share? I need to think about what I'm going to share. And what I say to that is, don't think about it at all. Don't think about it at all. Don't plan what you're going to say. Yeah, of course, maybe there's things that you kind of have a general idea of what you want to share. But when you come into that intentional space, so we come into the present moment, that's the first step, and then we set our intention. What are we here to do? Well, we're here to connect, we're here to share, whatever. You can make it up. It could be different every time. So you come into the present moment, and then you set your intention. And you can ask Source, God, your spirit guides, your higher self. You can ask all of those beings that are supportive of you and your intentions to keep that space safe and contained, and to guide everyone in that space. Which I think is a third element that makes it extra powerful. And so some people may not include that if they're not feeling connected to that aspect of life in themselves. But that's really what makes it sacred. So otherwise it's just an intentional space. And so it's funny when you do that. It's hard to explain until you experience an intentional sacred space. But once you set that space and it's someone's turn to share, so many people immediately cry or get emotional or want to cry but try to hold back their emotions because, and why, and they get embarrassed and they feel ashamed and they're like, oh, this is embarrassing because I'm not used to it. And like, that's 100%, like, it can be embarrassing to do that because you're not used to spaces that are safe for you to feel whatever you're feeling and being who you are. But just that right there, even if that person doesn't end up feeling comfortable to share, just that first experience of being seen, being allowed to share, having the space to be heard is often very powerful. I've also experienced this in therapy because therapists do the exact same thing. They create a safe space for you and your process. So you can do this through professional care if you're in a space where that is what you need, and I 100% support that work with professionals, with the right ones. Not all of them are great, but there's so many out there that are. And I think what these circles do, they're just sometimes they're the step before you go to therapy. There's a lot of people in my circle that have come to circle and then decided, like, wow, it's clear, I'm realizing that there's some stuff that I need to get help with, to work through. And so then they make a therapy appointment, and then it's like this group with your community of people that are walking on the same path are there to support you in a different way. Because these sacred circles are not a space for therapy. It's not therapy. It can feel therapeutic, of course, but it's not therapy. It's just a space for you to share. No one tries to fix your problems. No one gives you recommendations. No one questions your feelings. No one invalidates your feelings or invalidates who you are. That's why it's a sacred, safe space. And so I didn't think that this was going to take this turn. But, that's why. Because of COVID, I wasn't able to have this with this amazing group of women. And I had to do it on my own. I had to process things on my own. And it's just a lot harder. It's just a lot harder to do. And so I'm looking forward to this new moon, is when we have it around, to reconnect with these women and share what's been going on and to hear their stories. Because the thing is, it's not only healing that you get to share in this space, but that others share, and you can see, oh yeah, I've been there, or, you know, I'm going through the same thing, or just, wow, that's something I never really considered before. And so there's healing and learning from the other people in the group by only just hearing their story or hearing their share. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I guess this is about the importance of setting intentional, sacred, regular space for yourself and for others, and really the importance of that. And that COVID has really highlighted the need for that more than ever. At least I feel that way. Do you feel that way? Do you feel like everything's a little bit extra hard because you don't have the same outlets to express who you are or be who you are or connect, have you ever been in an intentional space that I'm talking about? It could be in therapy, it could just be in a group dynamic. So I'm curious, so let me know if this resonates with you, and share and save it if it resonates with you as well. Thank you so much for listening. If you're still here to the end, I love you. Have a lovely day or evening. Ciao.